Now there's still no denying that each and every star taking up a spot on this list through their all-integrating physical magic in between the ropes. It's just a shame they ended up utterly destroying their bodies for contests that can accurately be described as disastrous. So I am Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestlers who destroyed themselves for terrible matches. Number 10, Kane lands hard. WWE Fully Loaded 1999. Despite usually being the person responsible for sending sorry souls straight to hell under the WWE banner, on the night of Fully Loaded 1999, Kane was force-fed some of his own medicine thanks to a fellow giant. With special guest ref Hardcore Holly watching on, Big Show got things off to an absolutely sickening start in the pair's battle by launching the Big Red Machine right over the top rope via gigantic gorilla press. And Kane ate absolutely all of it. Kane's horrific crashing and burning paved the way for a largely uneventful contest. And when the bright red bumper did finally begin to respond with some half-interesting offense, Holly soon interfered before hitting a fast count for the Big Show victory, with Kane no doubt feeling absolutely every step after the ropes failed to break his truly horrendous early fall. Number 9, Shotzi and Raquel take some horrible bumps in a forgettable ladder war. NXT 2020. All of the effort in the world still couldn't save matches like the 2020 Women's War Games Advantage ladder match on NXT from going down in history as a bit of an all-round botch, however. Said contest saw Shotzi Blackheart and then Raquel Gonzalez going all out in their quest to bring home that all-important edge. But with the pair still being relatively green at the time of their ladder collision, more than a few rather painful accidents soon mired their attempts to get fans invested in the war to come. After a few dodgy early moments, Shotzi battered herself by smashing her own back into the apron mid-dropkick on her opponent, and landed even more awkwardly when trying to crash down on Raquel off the top rope to the outside. The future Rodriguez's face would also well and truly eat a senton into a ladder during the clunky outing. This simply acted as another reminder of WWE's frustrating over-reliance on a once captivating stipulation. Number 8, DX both take a dodgy fall. WWE Crown Jewel 2018. Very few were expecting a 5-star classic to be produced by the over-the-hill tributes to D-Generation X and the Brothers of Destruction here. But even an empty-calorie greatest hits compilation was thrown out the window in next to no time at all, thanks to Triple H's Peck deciding to go for a wander early into this absolute car crash of a main event at Crown Jewel 2018. And the most physically capable aging icon in the contest losing a wing so soon into the action ultimately left the least ring-ready man in town, Shawn Michaels, in a position where he had to do most of the heavy lifting from there on out. What could go wrong? Well, everything. Sure enough, it was only a matter of time before HBK sensed he needed to go big to get this madness back on track. Yet said moonsault from the top to the outside did little more than leave the showstopper questioning his life choices after a previously unmasked Kane and Broken Taker forgot their only job in the moment. Number 7, Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho trade barbs. AEW Dynamite FYTER Fest 2022. With Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston going at it once again at FYTER Fest 2022 Week 2, only this time within a barbed wire everywhere minefield of sorts, the potential for brilliantly gritty violence was undoubtedly there. However, despite both rivals throwing their bodies through barbed wire tables and busting themselves open repeatedly in the fight, the action soon devolved into an overstuffed interference fest. Ty Mello's intervention and Anna Jay's sudden heel turn, the former's botched attempt at unleashing the JAS locked within a shark cage, rendering that stip completely pointless, and the eventual arrival of the BCC all pulled the attention away from what should have been a harsh blow-off war between two bitter enemies. And while Jericho, also boasting a broken nose from the action, may have thought plummeting through many a barbed wire piece of furniture would have helped put a fallen Kingston over in defeat, the wrong sort of damage had already been done. Number 6, Shane O'Mac takes a massive Hell in a Cell bump. WrestleMania 32. It is time to relive that moment when Shane McMahon intentionally puts his body through hell in the middle of a rather dull WrestleMania showcase. After making his crowd-popping return to all things WWE in 2016, the human crash test dummy was given the chance to run Monday Night Raw by his insane pups, if he could overcome the dead man on the grandest stage of them all. He didn't, but that still didn't stop Vince from completely going back on that deal 24 hours later because WWE logic. What Shane did manage to do, however, was steal the damn show by launching himself off the Hell in a Cell structure during his otherwise forgettable dance with the Phenom. Only he didn't, because this was the same night 3 of the 4 Horsewomen put on the match of the night. The Rock and John Cena united to take down the Wyatt family, and HBK, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin whipped the crowd into a frenzy. At least his kids got to see their daddy crash through a table at ringside though, eh? Number 5, Randy Orton gets busted open the hard way, WWE SummerSlam 2016. Randy Orton's own returning contest on the night of August 21st, 2016 had people genuinely buying into this blockbuster battle being a 15 years in the making epic. As expected, much of the unoriginal fight involved the Viper being tossed around the canvas like a bag of dizzy serpents. However, Orton's body being gloriously smashed into an announce desk and the Apex Predator nailing the Beast with an RKO out of nowhere on another were brief highlights amidst the mediocrity. Then Brock went about pummeling Orton for realsies late on as the two attempted to end the night in controversial fashion. And it worked, as a genuinely worrying sight of the veteran being left in a pool of his own blood by Lesnar soon overshadowed the unmemorable action that came before it. Add into that the ludicrous visual of tough guy Shane trying to pick a fight with the former UFC heavyweight champion, and you have one of the most surreal and often uncomfortable stretches in SummerSlam history. Number 4, Rey Mysterio gets stretchered into a ring post, WWE Backlash 2003. While the actual match itself may not have seen Rey Mysterio being viciously brutalized by the Big Show, the shocking spot that followed the pair's just there squash at Backlash 2003 sure did. The WWE Hall of Famer had spent much of the pretty unremarkable 3-minute contest beforehand trying to overcome the Giant with his superior speed and agility. But then things took an entirely unnecessarily savage turn in the wake of Show's inevitable pulverizing of Rey Rey. With Mysterio being strapped into a stretcher after being broken in half by a match-winning chokeslam, the towering force returned to swing the masked icon into the ring post like a human baseball bat. The future World Heavyweight Champion had no choice but to take the full impact of his fall to the ground face first. Number 3, Cactus Jack cracked his head off the concrete. WCW Clash of Champions 10 Texas Shootout. Mick Foley was no stranger to throwing his body into absolutely horrendous situations throughout his legendary career. Yet most of those moments of horrific violence helped very much elevate the contest they were involved in. Whereas the disgusting impact Foley took to his skull when battling on WCW's Clash of Champions 10 pay-per-view did nothing to save a rather dull 5-minute bout. And in an attempt to spark some much-needed life into the entirely flat match, Foley reacted to a dropkick from his opponent when stood on the apron by launching himself back first onto the unforgiving floor outside. And while he'd still end up on the losing side of this largely boring waste of a spare few minutes, Foley at least just about walked out of this one feeling like a star who'd risk it all to be the name on fans' lips. Number 2, Goldberg and Undertaker nearly kill each other in a Saudi car crash. WWE Super Showdown 2019. Less than a year on from watching D-Generation X nearly horrifically destroy themselves in Riyadh, The Undertaker decided to get in on the cringeworthy action with Bill Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. The man got the disastrous ball rolling by carelessly knocking himself out after a collision with the ring post, and things never really recovered from there on out. And also, physically struggling Taker tried all he could to drag his fellow 50-something legend to a half-respectable showing to no avail. But then things took yet another scary turn for the worse. Instead of executing his trademark jackhammer, Goldberg nearly made Taker's wife a widow, as the Phenom put it, dropping the veteran almost on his neck during the heavily botched finisher. One more merciful chokeslam later, the hard-to-watch battle was over. Number 1, Matt Hardy experiences a sickening bump. AEW All Out 2020. Matt Hardy's Broken Rules fight with Sammy Guevara backstage proceeded to leave fans wincing for all the wrong reasons. After the pair had somehow found themselves battling atop a scissor lift, the broken one was suddenly speared off the contraption and straight through the tables below. The problem was that the spot clearly hadn't been thought out as well as it should have, and Hardy's upper half completely missed the furniture, so his head horrendously smacked off the concrete, after knocking Guevara off some scaffolding for the count-out win. But the dreadful scissor lift spot being greenlit in the first place, on top of the controversial call to let the match continue, both sit as two botched decisions that earned the company a deserved amount of criticism in the months that followed. And that's our list. Know of any other wrestlers who destroyed themselves for terrible matches? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, if you like this kind of stuff, then please head on over to whatculture.com and find some more fantastic articles just like the one this video you're watching right this very second is based on. I've been the always destroyed Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching this video today. Hopefully we'll see you again very, very soon, but in the meantime, just be good to yourself. Bye bye!